No blaming. No excuses. Just real solutions that will really change things. That's real leadership.
When somebody gets into management, oftentimes they feel like they are the boss and now everyone has to listen to me. I think it's important that leadership actually listens to others.
That's real leadership.
Real leadership.
Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We're very blessed that you decided to join us today. And I think by the end of this show, throughout the whole show, you are going to have some really powerful financial revelations. I have a question for you. Is your financial house built out of plastic? Or have you got your financial house on a solid foundation? I grew up on welfare in a violently abusive, drug-infested home, pregnant at 17, homeless at 21, but millionaire by 23. How? I did not win the lottery. I actually started a business. I worked. I brought skill set into the marketplace, brought value before prospects. The prospects decided to become my clients. I built relationship with those clients, and out of that, my very first year, I made $250,000. By the end of my second year, I made my first million. Today, multi-millionaire, best-selling author, international speaker, radio and television show host, mother of 5, grandmother of 7, can't believe I have that many kids, and I have a passion for seeing you succeed. Every single month, we feed orphans all over the world with the finances that we generate in the marketplace. We're helping people daily pay off debt, build businesses, their careers, getting bonuses and raises in their career and their profession, as well as helping people improve their relationships. And here on the Dani Johnson Show, we daily help you to define success for you. You see, everybody has a different path of success. Everybody has a different definition for success. And unfortunately, most of the world has told you what success looks like. And I'm here to tell you that I can poke holes in anybody's ideal plan of what success is. Because my husband and I, in the very beginning days, we denied ourselves nothing. We bought everything. I was a fool with my finances and ended up with heart attack, nervous breakdown at 24 and 25 years old, almost divorced for the second time, did not know my children. Yes, I had a nice home. Yes, I had a lot of nice stuff. Yes, I had a lot of nice jewelry. However, my life was a disaster. So here today, we're going to redefine success. What is your financial success plan? In fact, do you even have one? Most people actually don't. Most people don't have a financial plan. And without a financial plan, and I'm not talking about with those financial planners, I'm talking about your day-to-day living and spending, your day-to-day choices that you make with your money. And if you grew up the way that I did, there was no financial plan. Well, I guess there was actually. They lived on welfare and they used all of their welfare check every single time they got one, every 2 weeks, the 1st and the 15th of the month. That's when they received the money, and bam, some of it went to rent, some of it went to drugs, the rest of it went to food and the electric bill. And so that was my parents' idea of a financial plan. And why? I can't blame them. The reality is I don't believe that their parents sat them down and taught them how to budget. I don't think anyone sat them down and said, hey, here's how money works, here's how to make it, here's how to keep it, and here's how to make your money work for you. The reality is most of us have never had that conversation. In fact, a show that we did about a week ago, we asked what were some things that mom and dad taught you about money, and man, we were blown away by so many of your calls that you told us like they didn't say anything about money. I didn't learn a thing about money. I didn't know how to balance a checkbook. I didn't know how to make financial decisions. Well, listen, if you're tapping into the Dani Johnson Show every single day, 6 days a week, you'll have no excuse at all concerning success. Concerning financial success, business or career success, your family success, because here is where you get to define it for yourself, or in some cases, you have to redefine it because you've been given a bill of goods that really, in a lot of cases, have turned into a pile of trash. Well, we're going to clean out the trash, and we're going to start using our cash to be beneficial for your family today as well as for your future, and doing good things in the world with the money that you're able to actually generate. So here's a question I have for you. When was the last time that the words flew out of your mouth and they were this? I have to have it. I gotta have that thing. Oh my gosh, I can't stop thinking about it. Back in some time in my life, there was a certain vehicle that it wooed me. It literally wooed me. I mean, it played with my hair somehow. It somehow gave me a kiss on my forehead every single time I heard this vehicle. And what was it? A Harley. Anytime I would hear a Harley go down the road, my hair on my arms would stand up. There would just be this surge of excitement that would just flush all over my whole body, right? I would just get this flush. My cheeks would turn red. My hair felt like it was standing up. My hair on my arms was standing up, and I would hear that, oh gosh, come on, can you hear the engine? You might be in your car right now, and you might have someone out there just bam, bam, on their throttle there. You could just hear it. There's just, I don't know what it was. But there were a few other things that did it for me too. Yes, old cars. Oh my gosh, yes. Those old muscle cars, right? The 1965 cherry red Mustang or that 1967 Camaro. What about the Firebird? What about the old 1950-something... Actually, 1957 Thunderbird with the porthole, right? The turquoise with the white wall the white wall tires and the white interior. Oh my goodness! And let's not forget the 1955 Chevy Bel Air. Oh my gosh! Wow! Right? Canary yellow. Come on? Are you understanding what I'm saying right now? See those cars? Whenever I would see those things go down the street, it's like. In fact, at some point, I had a list of 35 cars that I wanted to own. Yeah, when I was young. I was like, oh gosh. Oh, could you imagine walking out to this huge sprawling garage and going, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, bam, I'll take you. Oh, could you imagine? Yeah, that's how I used to think. And I actually started to buy. Really, really funny. But see, stuff really talked to me. I mean, it called me by my first, middle, and last name. And those Harleys really romanced me. Do you understand? I don't know why, but they really, really romanced me. I'm like, come on, can you picture it? My big dark brown eyes are rolling back in my head. Okay, do you understand? And my heart is just beating along with the thump of that beautiful throttling engine or whatever that is. I don't know if it's a muffler that makes it sound that bad. Don't laugh at me. I just happen to like the way that cars looked and motorcycles looked. Didn't know anything about them. But there is a point. You see, I had been messaged to so much. I'm not talking about text message to, but I'm talking about through the media, right? Through movies. Come on, remember Grease? You remember that movie, right? Come on, the poodle skirts, those cars that are racing down that alleyway. Oh my gosh, the hair on John Travolta. And Olivia Newton-John's beautiful voice. Come on now. I started to get messaged to when I was young. Just like you did. And all of a sudden, right, we picture ourselves at that soda fountain and we want to order that root beer float and oh my gosh, I've got to have that little sweater that goes with that skirt and oh, I got to have those shoes, right? And of course, then we see the person in the movie get in the car and oh my gosh, it'd be so great to have one of those one day and then you're in the house, oh, I really like that table that they have, right? But we're being messaged to all the time. And then pretty soon the advertising comes, right? The magazines that we think we're reading up on the celebrities or we think we're reading up on business. And yet there they are next to their big fancy house. There they are next to that nice car. And it was, gosh, I got to have one of those someday, right? Or we pick up whatever, whether it is a technology magazine, right? The technology magazine is designed to sell you things. It is, okay? The gadget magazines are designed to sell you things. The investing magazines are designed to sell you things. The catalogs are like full on. That's all it is. It's a sales letter, a giant one. Do you remember the ones we used to get from JCPenney's? Hello? 2.5, 3 inches thick of a catalog. Right, there we are, page by page. And here oh no, Dani, I only read industry-specific magazines. They are designed to sell you things. That's why there's advertising in them. That's why there's stories in there, is to get us to want to say, I gotta have that. I want that. So think about it. Did you already say that today? I gotta have that. I want that. Well, here's the reality. 98% of the population will end up dead or dead broke by the age of 65. Dependent on their family, friends, and federal government for their main source of income. 98%. Friend, I remember in my early days, starting in business, it's about 27 years ago, being really young, impressionable, green, wet behind the ears, whatever you want to call it, Not a whole lot of knowledge, but a whole lot of drive. And I remember hearing those numbers that the majority of our population would end up broke by the time they reach 65. And that only 2% of the population would actually be financially independent. Now listen, when I heard the word broke, I kind of had a picture of what that looked like. And when I heard financial independence, I really didn't know what that looked like. However, shortly after I heard these numbers, and of course I thought they were totally untrue, and I knew for sure that I would be destined for that 98%. Why? I came from welfare. I was uneducated. I was a high school dropout who went and finished the last couple months of school just to get my diploma that someone said that I needed that I've never had to use. I do recommend that people finish a project, obviously. But there I was at McDonald's, friend. And again, this is during the time where somebody else was telling me what success was going to look like for me. And at that point, it was all about money. It was all about money. Money and success, those two things were married together. I didn't think in terms of family and what I wanted, what success and family would look for me. I didn't look in terms of health. I didn't look in terms of relationships with people. I didn't look in terms of community. I didn't look in terms of my spiritual life. I didn't look at, being healthy emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and socially. That didn't even come into my mind, didn't even enter the equation here. Until I met this woman at McDonald's. Older woman. Come on, we've seen her. She's short, she's frail, kind of hunched over a little bit in her spine. She had a big stack of trays. She's wiping off tables with her cute little hat on, her little uniform. Then moved the trays to the next table and wiped the table that was behind her. She kept moving and doing this, and I was so curious, like, why is she working? She kind of looks like she should be retired or something. I went up to her and I asked her some questions, like, so how long have you been working here? Oh, for a few months. And, well, do you like what you do? She says, honey, I'm just happy that I have a job. I said, really? You're happy to have a job? In my mind, I'm wrestling like, wait a second, why are you working? And I came right out and I asked her that question. She said, Social Security and my husband's pension is not enough to cover our rent here in Concord, California. So we have to work. So I'm just grateful to have this job. How old are you? I'm 89. What? Right there, I was staring at 98% straight in the eyes. This is Dani Johnson. I'm going to continue with this show and teaching you how to manage your finances better right after this.
Think a big house and a nice car make you successful? Think again. Dani can teach you what you really need to get what you want. Stay tuned for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
Helping you get a grip on your priorities and your focus. The Dani Johnson Show.
Here's Dani Johnson.
Today we're going to redefine wealth and success. Why? Because you've been sold a picture of what it looks like, but I have a question for you. Is it really true? Is it really what you want? What does a man gain if he gains the whole world, but in the process he loses his soul? What is the point of amassing tons of riches when your relationships are completely miserable? Everyone around you hates you, can't stand being around you, and just simply wants to, not be there. But you pay them, and that's why they are there. What's the point of gaining massive amounts of money or things only to end up having to manage more stuff, taking more time to manage more stuff? I came to that conclusion a long time ago, and I am so very grateful that I started to think, wait a second, where did I ever get the idea about what success actually looks like? And this is after I had made millions of dollars and paid a heavy price for it, as well as worked 100 hours a week trying to salvage a company that I had been embezzled with. And so here I'm like, is this all really worth it? And what is this really all about? And it's important for you to ask yourself that question. to really make sure that you're on the path that you want to be to reach your destiny, versus being a slave to things rather than being a slave to money, being a slave to your career or the business in which you have started. I don't believe that we are supposed to be a slave to anything, but that we are called to be free. And the only way to reach our destiny is to walk in that freedom. I've found through my life that there's lots of things, entanglements and things that infringe upon, even pull on, even things that even throughout the years I've found they've lassoed itself around my neck, choking my voice out and having no joy. But gosh, having a lot of stuff and looking pretty on the outside, but just an absolute disaster behind closed doors and on the inside. That isn't to say that you could have everything all together and not have trauma and tragedy hit your life, because those things do happen. And why? We can't control decisions that other people make, but we can control how we deal with our lives. And sometimes we can be managing too much, especially in the area of finances, and making decisions today that causes tomorrow to be more stressful, decisions we make today financially that cause next week to be unbearable, decisions we make today that cause next month to make us pull the covers over our head and just go right back to sleep. That's what I want to help you today avoid. So I'm actually taking your call. We're going to be handling any financial questions that you may have. How can you improve that? Because if your financial house has been built on plastic, friend, oh, Lord, you are in trouble coming up here in the future. So 844-200-3264. We want to move you from that stuck financial place, moving into a place of freedom. Freedom financially. Now, Dani, does that mean I have to get rich? No, you don't have to get rich to have financial freedom. No way. There's lots of different ways to approach that. And again, you have to define what success and financial success looks like for you. For some people, it's making $1 billion. For other people, it's making $2,000 a month. For some, it's $50,000 a year. For others, it's $100,000 a year. No number is greater than the other. It's just simply a number and how we manage it. You see, if you, for example, you think, oh no, Dani, $1 billion, now that would be success to me. Well, how well are you handling the $3,000 a month that you have right now? It's a good question. I got you on that one, right? How well are you handling $3,000 a month right now? Because if on $3,000 a month, you're blowing it all. If on $3,000 a month, you're stressed out. If on $3,000 a month, there never seems to be enough, and you can remember when you made $1,500 a month, well, I guarantee you that same exact mindset's going to drive you when you're at $1 billion. Trust me. If you're stressed with $3,000, what kind of stress will you have at $1 billion? So really, is it a number that determines whether or not you're going to be successful with your finances, or is there something else? So the phone number is 844-200-3264. Call right now if you want any kind of financial assistance, help. Not like I'm going to give you the money. I'm telling you, you need advice with your finances. You need to understand how to budget. You need to know, wow, Dani, I've been living this long. I've made this much. I have nothing left. How do I fix this problem? One good exercise that you can do as we go over to the short break is this. I want you to think over the last 5 years, how much total income has hit your bank accounts. Okay, in the last 5 years, okay, if you're making $25,000 a year, 25 times 5 is $125,000 in the last 5 years that have hit your bank accounts. If you're making $50,000 a year, then that means $250,000 has hit your bank accounts in the last 5 years. If you make $100,000 a year, that's $500,000 that has hit your bank accounts over the last 5 years. Combined family income. How much do you have left? Just do that quick math equation. And we'll continue right after this.
How to turn a little into a lot. Always question your intent. Dani has helped thousands upon thousands get on track to living a better life. Don't go away. More of the Dani Johnson Show is on the way.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises. You're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination, that's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
We're back. Here's Dani Johnson.
So how much do you have left? Huh? Add up how much you've made in the last 5 years. Now add up how much you have left. And by the way, don't forget to subtract your debt. Credit card debt, car debt, and your mortgage. Subtract it. So how much do you have left? How much do you have in savings? How much do you have in income-producing assets? How much do you have left of all the money that you just made? I hear it all the time. People say, I want to make more money. I need to make more money. Yet that actually, in some cases, could be the worst possible thing that could happen to them. Why? Because it seems that the more money we make, the further in debt we go. So if you actually go out and make more money, it could actually hurt you so very badly. It might put you in a mental hospital because of all the stress and pressure that you have because you still haven't learned the skill set of keeping a portion of the money that you're actually making. So again, we're taking your call, 844-200-3264. Any kind of financial coaching that you're looking for, I'm live right here on the air waiting for your call, and I'm willing to help you in any way that we can. We have helped hundreds of thousands of people pay off tens of millions of dollars worth of debt in the last decade. And we will help you do the same exact thing. If you're willing to learn, if you're teachable, if you're willing to give it a try, I promise you I can show you how to become financially independent by some simple, tiny little tweaks along the way. So we're going over here to Kimberly in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Kimberly, how can I help you today concerning your finances? Hello, Kimberly? Kimberly, somehow you have muted your line. Or not? Okay, we're going to move on. Going over here to, oh, sorry, yes, that's Sandra. Let's see if that was Sandra in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hi.
I can. Okay, so how can I help you today?
Well, for me, I feel like I tend to get in my own way, and it's in my mindset. Instead of, thinking or saying, which is common with me, I can't afford it. Mm-hmm. I need to consistently or be more consistent in thinking, how can I?
Yep. So what are the kind of things that you seem to let your money go towards that are not helping you get to where you really want to go? I mean, do you have, for example, one of the things that is important to determine when it comes to finances is a financial goal. And then following the financial goal is a financial plan. Most people don't have a financial goal. And then of the ones who actually do have a financial goal, the majority of them don't have a financial plan. And I'm not talking about like, this big smart financial planners. I'm talking about just your daily financial plan. So what does your daily financial plan look like? And what is your daily financial goal?
Well, that's a great question, and those are two things that I haven't even thought of, to be honest with you.
So let's come up with it. Okay, so daily. Again, if you think in terms of daily, right? Wow. Mm-hmm. So how much are you going to make today, and how much are you going to keep today?
Well, I work part-time, mm-hmm. And I have a business that I just started as well, so those are some things that I really need to think about. Like, I don't.
Well, I'm asking you the question now, honey. You don't need to think about this. How much money are you going to make today? It's really simple.
I'm going to make $80 today.
Okay, cool. And how much of the $80 are you not going to spend?
20 of it. I mean, those are really hard questions for me.
Okay, so if you're saving $20 a day, that does not go towards anything, right? Okay, so that means you're going to spend 60 of your 80. Mm-hmm. Okay, do you know how much of your income you're planning on spending there?
Yeah. Now when you put it that way, yes, I see that now.
The vast majority, your goal is to spend the vast majority of the money that you make today. Yikes.
Yeah. When you put it that way, yeah.
So, okay, so if you look in terms of a month, honey, right? If it's in terms of a whole month, all right? So let's say that you make $2,000 a month. I'm just pulling a number out of the sky.
Sure.
And if and again, it all happens on daily. If on the same numbers, right, that you're going to spend 80% of the money that you make. Hello?
Yeah.
How much are you going to have left over? About $400.
Mhm.
Is that all? Is that your goal, is to just have $400 left over at the end of every month?
No, I definitely want to keep more of that.
Uh-huh. So you better come up with a plan, honey. You got to come up with a plan. And see, money is always looking for a place to go. That's the facts. It's always looking for a place to go. And if you don't tell your money where it's going to go, first of all, tell your money where it ain't going to go, it gets sucked up into other people's financial goals. For example, Starbucks has a financial goal. It is to get your $200 a month out of your bank account. Or it might be $300 a month, or it might be $400 a month if you're driving the entire family through the Starbucks drive-thru. So, okay, Apple has a goal for your money. Okay, Abercrombie & Fitch has a goal for your money. Okay, Victoria's Secret has a goal for your money. Okay, the movie theaters has a goal for your money. They all have a goal for your money, and you have to determine how much they are not going to get based on how much you're going to decide to keep. And then you get to take that money and put it towards things that you find to be much more satisfying to you. Thank you so much, Sandra, for the call. I appreciate you. Going up to Joy from Michigan, Port Huron. That's what it is. Joy, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. How are you?
Good. So what is your daily financial goal, and what is your daily plan for that financial goal?
I am kind of like the other girl. I really haven't made a plan because, I mean, like, in my growing up years, I've watched my parents basically live paycheck to paycheck. Once they got income taxes, bam, it was gone within
Okay,
like
hold
a
on.
week or two.
Let's talk about this, because that actually is a plan. You see, one financial plan is living paycheck to paycheck. Okay? Another part of their financial plan was to blow all of their tax return. On what? No idea. Okay?
Junk.
Did mom and dad ever get bonuses or pay raises?
Oh, yeah, and it was gone. They bought computers or whatever, just needless stuff.
Okay, now let's pause right here. I want you, Joy, to think about what that was like growing up in that scenario.
Well, I guess it kind of made me feel like, you know, once we got the extra whatever, we could live and scrounge for that period, and then once we got it, it was like our reward. So I guess that's kind of how it made me feel. Was like, okay, now it's time to reward ourselves.
All right. And so in your adult life now, how well is that live paycheck to paycheck and blow any bonus that you get on stuff?
It sucks. I'm learning now that I can't do this no more. I see stuff and I want it, and I was told no for so long when I was younger. I will just go out and buy it, and I gotta stop that. I know that now.
Okay, so how much debt are you now carrying because of this I need a reward?
Well, do you want that with or without my college education?
Your college education is a debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no with or without, honey. It's always with. That's part of the debt. Okay, how much car debt do you have? What is your mortgage debt? What is your school loan debt? And what is your credit card debt? As well as all the other loans that you got going on out there.
Yeah, I would say probably around $200,000 or so.
Caca.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Okay, so let me just kind of break it down, make it plain. So the very mindset that you were taught as a kid, which is spend all you make and reward yourself whenever you feel like it, has produced what enjoys life?
Unhappiness.
$200,000 with an imprisoned debt. Slavery.
Yeah, I mean, you wake up and you get up out of bed and you want to be happy, and all the people around you, and you're just not. You're just not. You got all this to stuff and nothing really to show for it inside.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Is rewarding yourself by buying more stuff and using credit for it really a reward?
No. And like I said, I'm just now starting to figure that out.
It's not a reward, is it? What is it, actually?
It's a hardship. It's a hindrance. It's a burden. And now that I've gone through one of your grooming, the future, I can't think of it now. I'm all shook up.
It's okay.
But now I'm learning that I'm actually putting that kind of a burden on my kids, and I don't want that.
Yep. You don't want to do that to the babies.
No.
Because look, this living paycheck to paycheck and reward myself whenever I feel like it, never planning for the future. Now that generation went to now, I can reward myself every day if I want to with Starbucks. I can reward myself every day if I want to with eating out. I can reward myself every day with a new blouse if I want to. I have credit cards. I can reward myself all I like. And wait a second. I can get my education now and pay later? Shoot. That means I can reward myself with whatever activity I went through with college. And I don't have to worry about it because I can take care of it later. But is it really a reward? The answer is it's not a reward. It's actually pain. It's suffering. This is Dani Johnson. It is. This is Dani Johnson. We're going to continue. Enjoy. I'm going to give you a couple little tips of advice right after this.
Hey, have you done a favor for your best friend yet? Then do it now. Share this program with them. The Dani Johnson Show, helping hundreds of thousands of people just like you make life more enjoyable and rewarding. The Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson, and the most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities, and they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
Hello.
Improving the quality of your life. The Dani Johnson Show.
I love it.
Living paycheck to paycheck, man, isn't what it's all cracked up to be. And it honestly is a choice. I know right now I just made you mad. And you're like, nah, Dani, I promise it's not. No, you don't understand my life. I do understand the life because I lived that life. And even when I was broke, I lived paycheck to paycheck. And then when I made a lot of money, my first million, I still lived paycheck to paycheck. And therefore, that I know better. That if I had kept the same lifestyle when I was broke, when I had made that first million, I would have kept most of the money that I made. I would have had a cushion for the future. I would have had all the kids' college tuition paid for. I would have had all the weddings planned for. Do you understand? I would have had my old age begin to be paid for. But instead, because of the mindset that I learned as a kid from mom and dad who had no financial education at all, they weren't taught any different. They lived paycheck to paycheck on welfare. And then when my mom broke her neck, she lived paycheck to paycheck on the settlement that she got. And always blowing it all, never having anything for the future. And this creates a crazy amount of stress, and that's exactly where Joy finds herself. She called in on the last segment, and this is exactly the way her parents lived. This is how she has lived, and she has shared with us that it has been a prison sentence. Now, $200,000 in debt, and realizes that she looks at her own children. This is what I'm doing to my kids. By default, by not having a financial plan. So, Joy, I brought you back in. Your line is now open. Joy, what are you going to do to change this? Today, honey. Today, for the sake of the next generation.
Well, I'm going to stop, just spending. If I want something, I obviously need to evaluate and be like, do I want this or do I need this? And if I don't need it, I don't want it.
Okay, let me give you a quick tip on that. Give yourself 30 days. You know when you're at the store, you're seeing the commercial or whatever, it just looks like it's so awesome right there and there, right? And it's like making our hair stand up like, oh my gosh, I got to have that. Give yourself permission to take 30 days. That if you still gotta have it, you're still getting a hot flash over it in 30 days. Well, then, by golly, then you can put a savings plan together and you'll say, all right, I won't eat out for a week so I can purchase that item. All right? That's one thing that you can do. All right? But give yourself 30 days. Guess what you will find, Joy? What you will find is that you won't even remember it 20 minutes after, let alone 30 days later. There'll be
Probably.
It's true. It's absolutely true. So that is that impulsive buying of stuff that you do not need. And that is the thing, that's the habit that has to change within you. And once you do that, you're going to feel so liberated. You're not going to feel the tentacles of that evil spending monster driving its claws into your flesh to get your hand to move into your wallet. You pull out that credit card and you buy it again, and now you're not $200,000 in debt, you're $220,000 in debt after another year without killing this monster in us that says, I gotta have, I gotta have, I gotta have. No, you don't have to have. Let's wait 30 days. If I still want it in 30 days, well then by golly, I'll evaluate whether or not it's worth it to have it in 30 days. But watch out, what if it's not on sale in 30 days? Oh no, what if it's not there in 30 days, right? Here's all these, I'm gonna lose out. Oh, no, I knew myself, honey. That's how I used to live. Like, you went, no, it's really simple. If the thing is still talking to me in 30 days, well then by golly, I'll figure out a way to get it. Or I'll at least evaluate whether or not it's worth it. Once you crush that monster, girlfriend, I'm telling you, you'll feel so good about yourself. You will not be living under that burden anymore. You'll not feel that stress anymore. And then you can start, you're going to find that you're going to save a lot of money every month by just killing that thing. Just right there. You'll start to save money, and then you can take that money and start applying it to that $200,000 worth of debt. All right? You can do this, Joy. Right. You can do this for the sake of your kids. You're going to teach them financial responsibility. By the way, joining me later on today in the show, in fact, in this next segment coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to have joining us two ladies that were totally flat broke. They were pastors' wives. You can only imagine. They were pastors' wives, and these pastors' wives were flat broke. They had families that they had to feed, and they could not figure out how to be able to do that. Well, these two ladies figured out, wow, how do we cook in such a way that saves us money? How do we make this tiny little shoestring budget feed all of us in this family? And then out of that, my friend, a business came about. A brilliant business. In fact, I couldn't believe when I met these ladies a couple months ago. I was so impressed with what they had developed, and it's going to help you tremendously saving money on your food bill, saving money with your groceries, as well as, could you imagine? Come on, think about it. Could you imagine if there was somebody else putting together a friendly budget with great food and the recipes to boot? Come on, think about it. Think about that. All right, come on. If you're like a lot of people, after work today, you're going to say, what am I going to make for dinner? Could you imagine how awesome it would be if it was already figured out for you? Come on. Already figured out for you? Tasty, delicious, inexpensive, easy to prepare meals. Yes, already figured out for you. So all you have to do is follow the directions, and that. I know for me that whenever I have done this, like, oh, what am I going to make for dinner tonight? Oh, gosh. Just here comes the stress, right? You just get off of work and you have all the stress of that day. You got a call from the principal's office because your kid acted up, right? Okay, and then you got a flat tire on the way home. This is why people drive through. This is why they say, forget it. Forget it. We're just going to drive through tonight. Forget it. We're ordering pizza tonight. But when you add up all the money that you're spending on all that food that looks cheap on the outside, it is not cheap on the inside of it, not when you add the sodas, not when you add all the extras, and it's certainly not cheap on the inside of your gut that is growing by the day because of what you're putting in it. So listen, one of the ways that we redefine success for you, you have to determine what success is for your life, and I know this, finances is part of it, but this is a new equation that has to be entered in. How about how much you don't spend? Force your bank account to grow based on what you don't spend money on. And one of the things you don't have to spend money on is eating out. And one of the solutions I'm going to bring you in this next segment, I'm so excited for you to meet these two ladies, is for you to be tapping into somebody else that's taken their talent, their ability, their skill in a very economical way, delivering straight to your inbox meal plans, recipes, and a grocery list. What? Yes. You're going to look like a gourmet cook to your family. And you're going to save a lot of money while you're doing it. Yeah, emeals.com is going to be joining me right after this. Super excited to introduce you to Jenny and Jane, a team of women who came out of crazy level of poverty, no money, how to make every chicken stretch. So that's one thing you're going to learn in the second hour of the Dani Johnson Show. So stay right here. We're also going to be dealing with any of your questions, your financial questions about different ways that you can save money, different ways you can take that money, attack your debt, or take that money you're saving and really put it towards your financial goal. So if you pulled anything away from the first hour of this show, okay, your success financial plan looks like this. How much am I going to make today? And how much am I going to keep today? How much am I not going to spend? Come on, be a champion in what you don't spend versus being a champion fool in spending more than what you make today. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more helpful financial tips, redefining success, right after this.
Good people bring out the good in people. And you're sharing great moments with thousands of good people right now. There's more of the Dani Johnson Show coming up. Stay here.
And I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880. Or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's DANI Johnson.com. Get your copy today.
Is this the way you should live your life?
Be strong, but not rude.
Be kind,
But not weak. Be bold, but not a bully. Be thoughtful.
but not lazy.
Be humble, but not timid. Be proud, but not arrogant. To have humor, but without folly.
Get real lessons on life, finances, relationships. Get real with Dani Johnson.
Dani Johnson.
The Dani Johnson Show.
Dani Johnson Show. Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to Hour 2 of the Dani Johnson Show. So blessed that you decided to join us. Today's the day you're going to save money. Yes, not only on your food bill, but you're also going to save money by not wasting time at the grocery store and going to the grocery store 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week because, ooh, I forgot that, or whoops, what do I do about that? Oh no, I don't know what I'm going to cook, so let's go out to eat. This next segment of the Dani Johnson Show, where we are redefining success for you, where we are showing you how to de-stress and unclutter your life. Simplify some simple little processes of everyday living, both at home and at work, and now take the money and focus it to the things that are important to you. Is that annihilating your debt, like hundreds of thousands of our clients have done over the last decade? Is it taking care of the orphan or the poor? You can redirect that money to building homes for those who have none, whose homes have been destroyed. You can take that money and take the family on that long-awaited vacation off to Bora Bora, the most exotic island in the world, or you can use that money to pay off your grandparents' debt. Put some money away for the future, or whatever. Buy that house that you want to buy. We're going to show you today in Hour 2 of the Dani Johnson Show how to redirect that spending, ways to save money. You know you need it. You're spending more every day than you're making, and you've been doing that for a long time. Even when your income was half of what it is today, you're still spending more, and that means that debt is creeping up on you, and so is the slavery of it, and you don't want to go there. So it's a wake-up call today financially so that you can get free, so that you can breathe, so you can feel better, so you can actually live. And by the way, those were flowers you passed by today on your walk, but you didn't notice because all you saw was the credit card bill in your mind, and how am I going to pay for this? And all of the stresses that you were looking at for the day. So on the Dani Johnson Show, we're helping you to redefine success, how you live each day according to your plan, and not the plan that somebody else has sold you. Well, joining me right now, emeals.com. Amazing service. I was so excited when I met these ladies. I feel like it was a divine connection of how we met, and I love what we are getting to do even together. Between our war on debt system and eMeals system, this is a perfect marriage to be able to help you save money. So Jenny Cochran and Jane Delaney, welcome to the show.
Hi, Dani.
Hi, Dani. How are you?
Doing so good. I'm so glad to have you guys. It's so good to hear your voices again. Hey, first of all, you two ladies were broke pastors' wives. Is that correct?
Exactly.
That's pretty much sums it up.
That's correct. That's where we were living. We've been married, both of us, to our husbands for over 25 years, and so we definitely have been living on a very tight budget, and definitely in the early years, that was very true.
Yeah. So you had to learn how to stretch your food budget. And first of all, Jenny, how many kids did you have?
I have 3 girls.
Okay. And Jane?
I have 4.
Okay.
2 girls and 1 boy.
Okay. So Jane, with the 4 children that you had, how much money did you have available to spend on food throughout the month on a pastor's salary?
Well, if my memory serves me correct, maybe $200 to $300 a month, but I called it my household fund, and I squeezed, groceries and extra tennis shoes and everything else that I could out of that.
Yep. So this caused you ladies to come up with a system that actually helps people save money on their food budget and it's so funny because our stories are so similar in that we both got very serious about how much money we were spending on food and seeing how wasteful that a lot of people are, and they generally don't take the time to meal plan, which you had to do. If you had $300 a month to spend on food and toilet paper, right, and cleaning products, if all you had was $300 a month, and that included diapers from time to time, right, depending on where you were in that process. So you only got a few $100s a month to spend, and you had to learn to budget. You had to meal plan. And so out of that experience, you gave birth to a company called emeals.com. Tell us about that experience.
Well, about 10 years ago, basically I went back to work, and time became critical in even a greater way for me, which forced me to think very realistically about getting dinner on the table instead of more idealistically, because dinner had to appear every night, come rain or shine, dirt cheap or not. And I finally accepted that, the best tool I had in my grocery saving arsenal was not really my file cabinet of coupons or a cupboard full of bargains, but rather it was just really consistent and realistic and practical dinner planning.
Yep.
And although I had done that, for years, and my mom modeled that to us, it just became increasingly harder to pull off.
Yeah.
And, I knew that if someone were to do that for me, then certainly there were thousands of other women out there like me. If they could just click a button and print it off and go to the store, that it would be awesome. It would be a dream come true. And so at that point, that's when we began to play with the idea of actually fleshing out the concept.
And that concept is simple. Jane, tell us about that concept because it's really powerful. I'm really proud of what you guys have done.
Well, the concept, for us is printing off, a 2 to 4 page piece of document, or now you can get it as an app, but it's a menu that tells you, what you're going to have for dinner, and it's a complete menu with 7 dinners with the complete sides. And they're based on, budget-friendly recipes and simple sides and tandem meals where, you use 1 meat for 2 meals, that kind of thing. And then there's the complete grocery list that goes with it. And everything that you need, for those 7 dinners, if you go and you take that grocery list into the grocery store and you buy everything it tells you to buy, then you're going to have 7 dinners in your cupboard, in your refrigerator, all the thought work done.
So awesome.
Come home, follow the instructions, and, dinner's done.
That's so awesome. So basically you're doing my job. You're doing my every weekend job, right? sit down, I pull out all my recipes. I have this little journal that I've created of all the things that I know how to cook. I look at that. I have this sheet that is a meal planner. I write it all down. It takes a long time to do this. It really does. And then out of the meal planning, then I create the grocery list, and then I got to go to the grocery store to do all that. I come home, I put it all away, but my cupboards and my fridge and freezer are stocked with everything that I'm going to cook this week. And it really does reduce stress. It saves the amount of time that I'm going to go to the grocery store. A lot of people go to the store like 3, 4, 5 times a week, which is wasting gas, money, time, which is money. There's many more things we rather be doing than being at the grocery store. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the grocery stores, why is it that no matter what time of day that we go to the grocery store, there's never a time when it's not packed? Like, don't people have a life?
Well, you're hitting on a key point. Just to shop once a week will save,
hours.
Yeah.
Hours.
So much money. So much money.
Yep.
Just to get it to that one thing. And so, with emails, having your one main list, because dinner is the main, portion of our grocery spend. And so just to have that one aspect of your grocery budget knocked out and, knowing that you can go once a week is just a huge money-saving strategy.
It really is.
That's hard to pull off, like you said.
Yep.
So
I've been doing it for years, actually, Jane. I've been doing it for years. In fact, 14 years that I actually, no, 1998 is when I learned this, right? Like, this is stupid. And not only that, but you buy more than you need, right? We're at the grocery store. We're hungry. We're there 3, 4 times a week. We're spending hours there. We're buying stuff we shouldn't buy. We're getting fat. We're not feeling good. And it's not helping us hit any of our financial goals. It's not helping us hit our weight goals, not helping us hit our family time goals, right? It's not helping us hit our business or career goals. We're running around with like chickens with our heads cut off. And why? Because we lack a simple plan. Now, Jenny, I want you to talk a little bit about why you guys did this. Why did you? I really wish you were around, or I knew about you 10 years ago when you started, because you would have helped me decrease stress tremendously. Because the whole meal plan thing, it's like hard to sit down. I get a poll of everyone in the family. What do you want this week? Well, I don't know. Like, you're not helping me because I don't know what I want to cook. But this is so awesome that, Jenny, you guys have created this. Like, I don't have to think about what to cook. I don't have to think about what the ingredients are. I don't have to think about what to put on the grocery list because you deliver it to my inbox. Why did you guys create this?
Yeah. So, Dani, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, great. We were having a little technical difficulty there for a minute, but well, Jane and I, we've laughed through the years because we really are the perfect emails customer ourselves. People say, "Oh, I bet y'all are so organized, and you have, your homes are so organized, and you're just such an organized person. That's why you started this organized company." And it can be further from the truth. I mean, we're not slobs, but we're not hyper organized either. And the reality was, we needed a service like this as much as anybody else did, because it's just like you said. You're a unique person, Dani, in that you can sit down and plan through. And
it's not easy. It's not easy.
Can do that.
Yeah, it's not easy.
They're great at it, but the majority of us really struggle to find the time to sit down. And we talk about one of our buzzwords around here is decision fatigue. It's sort of an anomaly with our culture. We're just bombarded with decisions all the time, and to have to sit down, look through books, look through lists, look through my cookbook. It's just one more decision we have to make, and we're just exhausted.
Totally. Oh my God.
So it hits such a nerve for us personally. We're good cooks. We cook with ease. I mean, we basically know how to cook good food, but we find ourselves cooking the same 6 to 10 things all the time. And after a while, you just sort of get into this routine, sort of a routine.
Yeah.
And it's just great to have fresh ideas, fresh food. Getting great ideas, great recipes, and having that all laid out for you and done for you, so you can actually achieve it, execute it, make it happen. And then, like you said, you're meeting all these other such important goals in your life, your family time, which is huge at emails. It's really the heartbeat of our company is strengthening the family through mealtime and getting people back around the table and, face-to-face with the people you love, and strengthening those relationships.
So basically, we get to hire a home assistant that does all of our meal planning for us, right?
Very good.
All 7 meals.
Yep.
At emails.com. And how cheap is this thing? You actually save us money on our grocery bills even. We actually will save money because of this assistant that we're hiring for ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, hold the line. I'm going to keep you guys over into this next segment. This is Dani Johnson. Go over to emails.com. Meet me back here in a couple minutes as we continue the conversation. You're saving money from this show.
No matter what you think, feel, or imagine, if you want to make things right in your own life, you have to focus and believe. Stay tuned for helpful advice on life on The Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your freedom, your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Now, more of The Dani Johnson Show.
Have you ever thought to yourself, oh my gosh, I could so use an assistant. I could use a personal assistant. For years, I attempted to train one of my assistants to meal plan for me. Right? Because that was a major stress point for me. I love what Jenny Cochran from emails.com was just sharing about decision fatigue. Oh gosh, I know men and women alike, we all deal with that. Even kids these days. When we have so many options available to us, that means more decisions that we have to make. And one of the decisions that we have to make, and I love what Jane Delaney said earlier, come rain or shine, we have to eat dinner. And if we have a family, we have to be the ones to put the food on the table. We have to make that decision. And man, could you imagine being able to have an assistant so cheap? Could you imagine? Come on, just think about it. Somebody else comes into your life. You are in that rut with cooking. You have lost the desire and the grace to perform a wonderful meal for your family. You are in that place where you're too tired to go to the grocery store. You don't know what you already have in the pantry, the freezer, and the refrigerator. Okay? You're just dry as a bone with creativity of what to put on the table. You don't even know where to search for recipes because, we've looked online at recipes and going that one was a bomb. You spent all that money on that thing. That wasn't any good, right? And some of them that are too hard, you don't have that ingredient. Come on, you and I have been there before. But could you imagine having an assistant create that for you? Dani, I can't afford an assistant. Oh, yes, you can. It's emails.com. Emails.com. So, Jenny, tell us how emails.com. How do we get involved with emails? How do I get my personal assistant to meal plan for me, to create the grocery list for me, and that every day I'm going to be told what I get to create for the dinner for that week or for that day?
It's really so easy, and we've made it as easy as possible for you. Just go to our website and at emails.com, and all you do is you just choose the meal plan that you want to start with. We have over 70 meal plans to choose from. We have meal plans for family from 4 to 6 servings, and then we have meal plans for 2. We have every conceivable eating style you can possibly imagine to really address a lot of some of the eating concerns different families have. For instance, if you have a child that is gluten-free, a lot of times mama ends up being a short-order cook, and she's cooking dinner for the family, but then she has to go over here and cook gluten-free for Johnny.
Yep.
Well, wouldn't it be great if she could just cook wonderful gluten-free meals for the whole family they could all enjoy and meet his needs at the same time, and they could reap the benefits as well?
Yep.
So it's just a fantastic tool to address, like I said, many different types of eating styles, whether you're a paleo eater or if you're watching your calories or you don't like fat grams or you don't like carbs. You can go to our website. You can find just about any type
even
of
diabetics.
Meal.
You even have a diabetic eating plan.
Yes, we do. We have a diabetic meal plan, yes. And, we're addressing some of the most important issues of our day. Childhood obesity, diabetes is a huge problem.
Yes.
And like we said earlier in the earlier segment, just addressing the needs of our families and just being together. But anyway, when you go to our website, you pick the meal plan that you want.
That's emails.com. Emails.com.
Emails.com. We have 3 different purchase sort of setups. You can it's a 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month subscription. If you subscribe for 12 months, it's as cheap as $5 a month.
And there's a 2-week free trial that you can
Oh my gosh.
sign up for too.
That's right.
Yeah, so
go do that 2-week free trial at the very least. But if you're ready to hire your assistant now that is going to meal plan for you, create the grocery list for you, and give you the recipe of what to cook tonight for dinner, go to emails.com. Again, that's emails.com. So inexpensive. If you get a year's subscription, it turns out to be $5 a what? Did you just say, girlfriend? $5 a month?
$1.25 a week.
Find me an assistant that's $5 a month. That's all I gotta say. Find me an assistant now. And here's what's so awesome. This is what I loved about meeting you guys at emails.com was that, wow, when you take what you guys have done and they apply the war on debt, like my super saving money in your budget, to that, like, oh man, talk about saving so much money, so much time. Gosh, our lives are getting less stressful. We're putting more money in the bank. We are spending less time in the places we don't want to spend it, which is at the grocery store, fighting with our 3-year-old, telling him, no, you cannot have that for the 17,000th time. Fighting with the collisions. My gosh, it's almost like we need bells on our carts these days. There's like an all-out war in the grocery store. So we're staying away from that stressful place. We're saving money, more time around the dinner table with the family. Yes, that is what I call redefining success right there. Yeah. More family time, smaller belly. Come on now, emails.com. I think it's amazing. Thanks so much, you guys, for coming and sharing your incredible business plan with us, because I know that helped our listeners to save money today. Emails.com. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Let go of the past and hang on for what's new and exciting and about to come into your life. Stay tuned to The Dani Johnson Show. There's more to come.
Call now, 888-757-8880. I'm going to send you our report on how to feed your family on $100 a week. Get this hot thing in your hand now, and you can begin to save hundreds of dollars just on your food bill. No clipping coupons, no way. I'm talking about simple little things that still, even my position, I'm still able to feed my family on $100 a week or less. You are going to learn how to do the same thing. 888-757-8880. Call now. Get your copy of this report.
Get ready to live the uncommon life. Here's Dani Johnson.
You and I have habits, and we don't even pay attention to them, and many of us have blind spots. These blind spots and habits are actually hurting our bank accounts. And we are so busy, friend, right? Aren't we? Are we not so crazy busy that we're not even realizing that our daily activities perhaps are taking us further and further away from the success that we want in our finances and our jobs and our families with our health? We have habits today. We don't even realize that they're there. Like, here's one of them. Going to the grocery store 3 and 4 times a week. This costs us more money. It wastes time. It increases stress, and we buy things that we don't need. We end up eating things we never even wanted. Takes us time away from our families. Takes us time away from our businesses or our careers. This grocery store is a stress fest. Is it not? It's my least favorite place in the whole wide world to be. It is. I can't stand the grocery store. No matter what, I got to go there every 7 to 14 days. That's a reality. It's part of my life. It's been a part of my life for a long time as a mother of 5, grandmother of 7. Dinner's got to get on the table. Lunch has got to get in their bags. Breakfast has got to get in their belly first thing in the morning. No matter what, mama's got to have the food in the house. And there are things that we do that make that harder than it needs to be. That's why I was so excited to find emails. My goodness, how awesome. Somebody else is meal planning. Somebody else is creating. Somebody else is doing it for me. Love it. Okay, well, we're going over the phones. We're handling your financial questions, ways that you can save money, things that you can do to have a better financial plan, a better financial goal, so that you don't continue the habits maybe that were poured into you when you were young. We've got Kimberly on line 2 from Illinois. Kimberly, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hello.
Hi. What can we do for you? By the way, what did you think about that whole concept of emails?
Oh, it would be perfect as
I used to be a single mom. Recently, my boyfriend just moved in with me. But I was working from 7 in the morning to 7 at night, and I would be that way, what am I going to cook for dinner? Because you got to come home, you got to cook, got to help homework, be in bed. So it was really, really stressful. So, I mean, if I had somebody tell me, okay, here, this is what you're going to eat this week, and, oh, yeah. So you kind of knew what you were going to already spend for money-wise. For food. Oh, yeah. Perfect. I'm definitely going to sign up.
That's awesome. It's an incredible concept. I was so excited to hear about them. Wished I had them 10 years ago, by far. Okay, so Kimberly, what can I do for you concerning finances? Where do you need the help? That right there is one of them. That one tip alone, right? That's going to decrease the stress.
I've got more money going out than what I've got coming in.
Yep.
I've got I recently got divorced. Well, not recently. It's been about 7 years ago, but I'm still struggling financially from all the money or the debt that we had that I got stuck with.
Yeah.
So, and then every day you still got kids needing shoes, they need clothes, school fees and all of that kind of thing. And it's just, I've got more bills going out than I got money coming in.
Okay, so one of the things to look at, honey, is your habits, all right? And so we just handled in the last 2 segments the habit of the grocery store, the habit of not having a meal plan, the habit of popping in, oh gosh, and that creates stress too, right? You already said it. It's like the stress of coming home afterwards and trying to figure that. That's a stress all in its own. So that's one place that you're going to save money by having a meal plan and not going to the grocery store 4 and 5 times a week or 3 and 4 or even 2 and 3 times a week. So going to the grocery store less is going to save money on gas. It's going to save time, which is money, and it's going to save money on your grocery bill. And you make the commitment that I'm only going once a week, period, end of story. If I'm missing an ingredient, oh well, I'm going to improvise an imperfection, or I'm going to knock on my neighbor's door and say, can I get a half a cup of sugar, please? Can I borrow a teaspoon of salt, please, today, tomorrow, and the next day? Until I get to the grocery store. Like, you do not leave the house to go get that missing ingredient. This is actually what causes you to get creative and find a new way to make a meal. But again, with emails, it's obviously going to help you plan that out. All right, so that's one way. But look at your habits. So one of those habits is the grocery store and the meal planning. But other habits that you might have. Habits of, I don't know, do you drink coffee?
No.
Cigarettes?
Nope. I'm a soda drinker. That's
Did you say you said I'm sort of a drinker?
No, soda.
Soda drinker. Okay, well, there you go. Okay, so awesome. So then you have to ask yourself, I've been broke for 7 years. I've been struggling for 7 years. Is it really worth the Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, I started actually recently asking myself that because, when I work, I'm spending $1.35 for a bottle of soda, 2 and 3 times a day. So, if you could go to the grocery store and buy, a bottle of pop for $2 that lasts all day, that's actually smarter than the vending machine.
Well, let's go a step further, honey.
Just drink water, it's free.
Hello. Yeah, let's go a step further because if you are, you're spending right now $3 a day on sodas, right?
Right.
Okay, so $3 a day times 5 days a week or 7 days a week?
Well, one week it's 3 and the next it's 4.
Okay, so let's call it 3. All right, so 3 times 3 is $9. $9 times 4 weeks is, 9 times 4 is?
I don't know. I didn't know it was going to be math questions 28?
36.
Okay.
So I could be off. So that's $36 a month that could go where?
To one of my debts and get it paid off.
Ta-da! Wait. What's going to happen to your body when you no longer buy soda?
It's going to get healthier.
Yeah. What's going to happen to your mind?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, that's all I did was drink water. And in a month, I lost 5 pounds. And then with stress and everything, I started drinking the soda again.
Now, isn't it crazy? Think about this, Kimberly. So with the stress, you started drinking soda again, which then created more what?
More stress.
See, these are these habits that we have, these blind spots that we have that we don't even realize. That, wait a second, I'm drinking soda because I'm stressed.
Right.
Which made your butt bigger, made your gut hurt. It made you not think clearly, and you were wasting $36 a month on something that was making you more stressed.
Yes.
So then look, so we gain 10 pounds and we go, I don't know why I gained 10 pounds. There must be something wrong with my hormones.
Yeah.
Oh, there must be something wrong with my hormones. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's like, hello, fool. Soda affects your emotions. It affects your emotions, drives up with that sugar and that caffeine, and then what? Drops you out like you are a hot potato, right? Or I don't want to say the thing that's in my head, but just, dropped you like a hot rock, right? And they're like up and down, while you're going through a divorce. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Think about it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, once you actually start, sitting down and thinking and listening and, somebody else kind of telling you, yeah, it makes sense, but as yourself, you just really don't think about it at the time. But
you don't. You just keep going in these new habits and not even realizing, like, wow, gosh. And then watch, we start gaining weight, so then we gotta make some more money so we can buy the next size up.
buy more pants.
Right? And then wait a second, we see on Facebook this weight loss ad, so I'm gonna buy the weight loss program so I can lose weight. Because I'm not gonna go from a 12 to a 16. By golly, that's my line.
Exactly.
Which all of that costs money, doesn't it? All of it costs money. All of it is stressful. And where did it start? Drinking sodas every day. That's where it started. All right, so
it's kind of crazy.
It is. So I want you to look at all of your habits. Look at all of them and look at the road in which they led you to. Food is the biggest one. That's the biggest one. It's the convenience foods that have if you will, a spider web of pain that goes with it.
Yeah.
A moment of pleasure. Come on. How long? 5 minutes to inhale the cheeseburger? But how many hours of a gut ache? One after another. Your body is being starved of nutrition. It's not functioning correctly. Then you snap at your kids and you think you're a bad mom.
Yes.
Right? The list is absolutely. And then we need counseling. All because of the cheeseburger. Seriously, it is all connected. So now I want you to just go through your finances, look at the habits, look at where the money is going, and look at the absolute fruit of it. Look at the bottom line fruit of the stress. Look at the bottom line fruit of the waistband. Look at the bottom line fruit of, wow, this is actually stressing me out. I'm freaking out on my kids, and I'm not actually being real productive at work because I'm so stressed out about my money. All starts with one simple little habit. All right, awesome. I know you got help today, Kimberly. Did you get help today?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
How do you feel right now? Do you feel like you got a solution in your hands? Like, okay, I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I can do it.
It's pretty simple.
I know I can do it.
Amen. Amen. Thanks so much for joining us today. By the way, you want to share the show with other people because there's lots of people in your place that just don't know. They just don't realize that there's simple little things that they can change. This is Dani Johnson. Hey, listen, the only reason I can talk to you about that stuff is because I've lived on both sides. Wow. When I seriously looked at where the money was going, I'm like, oh, gosh, for as much as I'm spending on food, I could go on a cruise once a month. No joke. I could go on a cruise, a 7-day cruise once a month for the amount that I was blowing on food. Let's see, which better? I could lose weight by blowing less on food and go on a cruise once a month. There's no way I could gain as much in a week. Well, maybe. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more financial tips, redefining your success right after this.
The Dani Johnson Show.
What she says comes straight from the heart. You can't make this stuff up. The Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
We're back. Here's Dani Johnson.
You know, I found in my life that when I actually take a second to look in the mirror and see what actually is causing stress, it seems to all boil down to decisions I make or the way I think. It really doesn't have that much to do with my husband, but it has to do with how I react to him. Doesn't necessarily have to do with what's going on in the office, but it's more of how I react to that situation. We make decisions every single day. And if you are defining success for your life, you have to make sure that each day the decisions you're making are going to help you in that journey for your success. Now, I'm telling you right now, don't allow anybody else to tell you what success is for you. You have to define it for yourself. And in the case of most of us, most of our lives, somebody else has told us, they've painted this picture for us of what success really is. So here on the Dani Johnson Show, every single day, we are redefining that. We are challenging what the masses determine what is successful. You know, have a big house, buy a new car, go shopping every weekend. That is success. Making $1 million. That is success. I'm here to tell you I can poke holes in every one of them because I've already been there. I've already done that. I already paid the price. I already had the heart attack. I already had the nervous breakdown. I already had the thousands of fights with my spouse. I already pulled the covers over my head thousands of times because of all the pain and suffering that model of success brought. I believe that you have to determine, is what you're doing worth it? How do you want to live it? Where do you want to go? How much money is success for you? Don't come up with some number that somebody else has put in your head. What does success look like for you in your job, with your family, your health? What about your stress level? These are important things to identify. I'm taking calls right now, really putting a focus today on the finances. We have uncovered all kinds of ways to save money and reduce the financial pressure that's on your life. Now we go over the phones to Charlene from California. Charlene, welcome to the show. How can we help you with your finances today?
Hi, Dani. You know what? I love my job, and I do not make enough money.
Well, how much money are you making? How much money are you making?
I'm making about $2,000 a month.
Okay. And why do you think that $2,000 a month is not enough money?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I'm not even sure if it is, because that amount goes into my husband's account, who is in charge of our household bills. And
then how do you know you're not making enough money, honey?
I'm trusting him.
Okay, so wait a second. Oh, wait a minute. He's telling you you're not making enough money.
Correct.
Okay. And
I was in a job where I made great money, and we weren't living any differently, and he was still very stressed. So I've decided that making great money didn't help him either, so I may as well do a job I love rather than hate for great money.
Wow, so look at that. So even when you made more money, he was still stressed out.
Correct. So I'm trying. I went to your success class, so I am attempting now to do on my side business. I only have one bill. It's my children's college loans, and they had their share. I had my share. So on my side money, my side work, that money goes toward paying off that loan, because he refuses to pay that loan because they're not his children.
Oh.
That's a whole nother Oprah, but we're working through it.
Okay, but hold on. Actually, Charlene, I want to kind of go here in a different place. First of all, I'm proud of you that you love your job, but the one thing I want to see you stop saying is that you don't make enough money.
Okay.
Because you kill your potential of making more money in your current job when you say you don't make enough money. But instead say, how can I increase my value at my job so I can increase my pay? That's how we make more money. We don't make more money by saying, I don't make enough money. So love your job thoroughly by bringing even more value to the marketplace, to where they can't help it but to want to pay you more money for the things that you are doing. Number 2, I want you to go through your bank statement, and I want you to highlight every place you have spent money. Ask your husband if you can print out the bank statement, because you would like to look at where you have spent a bunch of money to where you can improve your financial skill sets.
It's separate. It's all. We have 2 separate accounts, and I'm on your Warren. I'm in the Warren Debt class with Diane and Kevin.
Good job.
And so I started doing that, and the only money I spent was for your seminar. I did really well.
So you didn't spend any. You don't eat out. You're not buying sodas. You're not buying Starbucks.
No, I do not drink Starbucks unless it's a gift. I don't drink soda.
Okay. Who does the grocery shopping? Who does the grocery shopping?
My husband.
Your husband does. Okay. How much food is left over in the pantry, in the fridge, and the freezer every week?
We go only once a week, and we pretty much empty. There's like rice, there's, soup, those kind of things.
Good job. Good job.
That's it.
Good job. Well, I think it's time, Charlene.
Stuff that I've learned.
I think it's time that you and your husband sit down and you have a simple heart-to-heart talk, and you explain to him, honey, when I made more money, we still didn't have enough money. So we need to figure this out. Would you be willing for you and I to actually go through our accounting and actually see places where the money is going that we need to, like, really make some decisions on? Because
he's not there yet. To show him, I have to show proof that I can do this. So right now my goal is to pay off the student loans, and then I believe that he'll have more trust and we'll be able to cross that next area.
That's part of it, but I think it's important. You're his wife, and as his life partner, you have a right to seeing the family finances. Just so you know. You have a right to seeing the finances of the family. You are giving him $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month is a lot of money. What's the mortgage payment? What's the amount that's being spent on food?
Our mortgage is $14,000.
Okay. So how much does your husband make?
I don't know.
Really? You don't know how much your husband makes?
I do not know.
Charlene, something's fishy. Something's not right here. Charlene, you have a right to the family finances. And it is time that the family finances are transparent between you and your husband. Something's not right here. So I would honorably, respectfully say, I'm a contributor in this household. The two of us, we are married. I'd like for us to come together and look at what our finances are and make some decisions together. Yeah, in a sweet, very gentle, respectable way. But that's important for the wife who is contributing to the household to know what the family income is and what the outgo is, and looking for ways to improve upon that. And by the way, your earning trust, I think it needs to go the other way right now. I think it needs to go the other way because something's up with this. So that would be my recommendation. You don't want to be one of those women, do you?
No, and I'm definitely not. I know you don't know me, but I'm not. It's one of the battles I have to pick, and obviously it's time I pick that battle as well. It's
time to pick that battle. The wife has a right to her opinion and to know what's going on in the finances. Thanks so much for joining me, Charlene. I appreciate you. This is Dani Johnson. I know today you got a lot of financial tips to help you redefine success for your life. We'll talk to you tomorrow with another exciting topic that will change your life.
We want to thank you for listening to The Dani Johnson Show. We hope you found inspiration, answers, and hope to renew your happiness in life. Join us again on the next Dani Johnson Show.
I remember being homeless and broke and broken in every way, and being overloaded with financial pressure, the pressure that I was a failure, the social pressure, everything that I felt like was crashing down on top of me. And at the same time, I felt so alone until I learned the strategies of first steps to success. You have the chance, my friend, to annihilate all of your debt. Think about that. You have the chance to grow your income through your current career, or even learning to start a brand new business that will be profitable. You also have the chance for learning how to motivate the people that are in your life that are driving you crazy, and how to have significant breakthrough, not only spiritually, but physically, financially, and socially, and business-wise. And so I'm excited to see you at First Steps to Success. It's coming up January 17th through the 19th. Get yourself registered today, 888-757-8880. There's a seat with your name on it, friend. 888-757-8880.